In this video, we're going to be going over examples of how to play on high ping through MrSavage's gameplay. I went to his YouTube channel, got some clips, and we're going to review them to show you guys exactly how to play on high ping. Keep in mind this is trios, but a lot of these tips can be combined for solos, duos, and squads. MrSavage is playing on over 100 ping throughout the entire portion of this video. So if you guys struggle with high ping tips and tricks, I'm here to help. 78% of people that watch my YouTube videos are not subscribed to my channel, so if you guys can hit that like button and the sub button for the one time, I would greatly appreciate it. First thing we're going to do is take off these glasses because I don't like them. Second thing I'm going to do is let you guys know that I do live stream on Twitch, so if you guys have any questions throughout this video, feel free to hop in. Link down below. First thing I want to mention is whether or not to use a charge or attack. If you're on high ping, I would strongly encourage you guys to use attack over a charge in almost any situation when you're playing on high ping. Whenever you're on 100 plus ping or more, the delay is extremely noticeable and you can feel it a lot while you're playing. So first thing I would recommend is to use attack over a charge, as you see MrSavage does throughout this entire portion of the video. Another really important tip when using a charged shotgun on high ping is to really keep your distance. Your main focus is to try and be one tile away from the guy you're box fighting, because if you're on high ping, it's going to be very difficult to box fight anyone. So with that in mind, when you're one tile away and the other guy inside the box might be a little antsy, if you can charge the shotgun shot and get 100 plus damage hit, you're going to be in a really good situation in this fight, because then you're going to be able to keep pressure on him and get the kill from there. Savage does this a lot, and what he does whenever he's in trios especially, and when he's trying to box fight someone one-on-one, he keeps his distance about one tile away, pressures the guy's wall so that he tries to make a play out towards him, because he knows that he can't take the wall himself. So there's no need to be right up against the guy's wall if you know you're not even going to take it to begin with. The main reason why pros like MrSavage and Benji Fishy are so good at the game is because they can change their play style at any point in time. If you notice, when MrSavage is on his normal ping, he's ripping walls from people, getting inside people's box and placing piece control all over the place. When he's on high ping, he completely changes his play style to be far away from people and force them to make a play on him, and then he'll hit his shots and he'll get the kills. This particular skill to change your play style is what really separates a pro player like MrSavage and an amateur pro player that doesn't really know how to do that. He can go into any game mode and find a way to dominate it. The single-handedly most important thing to note whenever you're on high ping is to learn how to change up your movement. Right here, we're looking at MrSavage get shot, and as you see, he starts building out and trying to get another box so that he can confuse this guy and make sure he doesn't know where he's at. The second this guy starts shooting his wall and axing it, he instantly jumps out and confuses the guy about where he's at. Constantly moving in box fights and never staying in one situation will benefit a high ping player, because if you stand still a lot when you have high ping, your wall is going to just get ripped from you always, and it's just going to leave the other player with a lot of piece control on you. So if you constantly move while you're fighting someone and make sure they don't know where you are inside the box, this is going to be better for you, because it's going to force you to understand how to hit shots on the move. One thing I've noticed that by doing this and moving around and constantly jumping from box to box and just making sure that the guy doesn't know where you are, he tends to get a little more antsy himself, which might lead him to jump inside your box or push you even harder. This is kind of what a high ping player wants, because if they stand still and try and box fight someone, they're going to be at a disadvantage. So forcing the other guy to kind of expose themselves and make the first move is what a different play style looks like for MrSavage, because he's usually the one that has the box fighting skills and the piece control in the fight. One thing I want to stress is that there's a very big difference between just sitting there and letting the guy attack you to actively try and move around and look for openings in the fight to shoot the guy. I'm going to touch on this in a second in further detail, but as a high ping player, it's extremely important to understand that you need to be putting pressure on someone with an SMG or your AR, because the second you let them get the control and box fight you and rip your wall from you, it's going to be a wrap. You need to constantly move around if that's the case, confuse them, because you're not going to be able to hold your walls as much. Here's an example of MrSavage when he died, but as you can see, he's not trying to box fight anyone, and he's constantly trying to run away from the guys that he's versing. If you notice, when he has the charged shotgun, he takes his time to get a nice heavy hit damage on someone by usually pre-firing when the guy is coming out of the box. Especially because he's a solo right now and his team is dead, he knows that the guys that he's playing against is probably going to be very aggressive and try and push him. With that in his head, he's predicting this guy that comes and edits this wall and gets a nice heavy hit shotgun shot on him. Although he died here, he played it very well and he ran away at the perfect times. He always has an escape route, and that's something that you also need to implement to your game as well. A+ effort though, I would have died way sooner. Even though it's a 3v1 here, he's not running up against this guy's wall and being aggro against him. He's playing it safe while playing it smart at the same time by pressuring this guy's wall to force him to make a play outside that box. Whenever a player leaves a box, there's a chance that they might expose themselves, especially when he's surrounded by 3 opposing players. He played this smart and exactly how he should, and he pressured the guy from a tile away. That way, if he rushed at him, he wouldn't be able to one-tack him and kill him. As he's running up and making a play against him, he backs up to get right-hand peek behind this wall here. Then as he's getting pressured, this is the perfect time for a third party, so his teammates come in and help him and they clean up the kill. No one took damage, and that's the best way to do it. We all know that if this was normal ping, he would have went up there, placed a wall, a stair, probably 10 more cones, and then got piece control and edited like crazy and killed him. But since he has high ping, you see how he only places one wall and then edits through and does really simplistic builds. He's not doing anything crazy where he's forcing himself to go out of his element when he has high ping. He knows that that stuff doesn't work. So this tip is to make sure that you're not doing too much because it can get you killed. Really play simplistic, and since MrSavage is so mechanically skilled, that's exactly why he's so good, because he's really good mechanically. That's why he can play on high ping. This clip is the definition of what I was just talking about earlier. You see how he's constantly being the one to put pressure even though he has high ping. He's moving and he's charging a shotgun and getting fat charges on people. Stuff like this is what's really going to help you on high ping. You see how he has this crazy SMG and he's spraying through this build. No matter on high ping or not, if you're spraying through someone's build with this gun, is going to be really beneficial for you because you're definitely going to get some tags on him. Since this guy just let go of his top wall, MrSavage unloaded his entire clip onto him, and then his teammate came, he charged his shotgun and didn't rush him, and he got a fat charge on him. This is the stuff you guys want to start doing. And at the same time, he was backing up while he was one tile away and also keeping his distance. Pay really close attention to which walls he's spraying at in this guy's box. He sees this guy's through his walls because they're not fully built yet, so he knows which way this guy is facing and pressures the opposite wall so he can get a shot on him. When you play on high ping, you can't shoot at the people's walls that they're building because there's pretty much no way that you're gonna break it with an AR. Unless there's some sort of frame drop in endgame, you need to shoot at a wall they're not looking at to break it and then get damage on them that way. You can see here how he's putting pressure on 2 different walls at once and spraying at both sides. Then as he drops down onto this guy's box, he doesn't even bother replacing it because he knows that this guy is probably full sentient since he's weak and he needs to make a play. So all he does is just axe the wall, he takes out his shotgun and gets a clean kill. The best tip I can give to you on high ping is to learn every exploit in the game possible. This one's pretty simplistic and works majority of the time. Just learn how to get inside people's boxes when you're not wall replacing them. He just puts a stair on top, makes it weak, and then just axes right in and gets a nice shot. It's not like he's doing any sort of box fighting skills. He's placing cones on people's boxes, he's trying to pressure their walls and stuff, but you don't see him really ripping walls from people. You can see here that he just has his shotgun out, he's ready to go, and he hits his shots. That's pretty much what you have to do. If you can't hit your shots, you need to work on your aim. If you guys want an aiming video of some sort, leave it down below in the comment section, and if it gets a lot of likes, I'll end up doing it. Before he even runs up to this wall, he shoots it with his sniper so he can have the ability to hit it once and break it. Seeing and analyzing which walls are going to be weak or making them one shot before you actually go up against the box is going to be really important for high ping players because they can't afford to swing twice and try and take someone's wall. The only way they're going to do it is when they take someone off guard when they don't have their map out. This is just something that comes through with experience and learning about it from dying from it, but when you walk through builds that aren't yours, it's going to be very hard for you to understand how to not take damage if you're new to the game. You have to understand angles, and MrSavage does that really well. He's trying to go get his teammates reboot card because they're both dead, but he knows that there's players around, so he kind of expects the unexpected, and the second this guy opens up this edit, he instantly goes to a position where he's not going to take damage, or at least have the guy miss the shot because he's at a really awkward angle. When he does this peanut butter edit, the best place to be is at the far bottom right hand corner, and if you duck and go down at that angle just like MrSavage did here, it's going to prevent the guy from getting a really clean shot on you. Another tip for people on high ping is to understand that when someone gets a wall on you, because it's definitely going to happen, just play angles and try and have your shotgun out ready to go and maybe run away and reset the fight somehow. Ducking behind this angle through the cone is something that a lot of people don't really do, or I see do too often, but it is a really good way to prevent yourself from getting shot, but it's not 100% successful. As you can see here, it's still possible to get shot, but if the guy's aim is a little shaky, he might miss. Since this was Savage's last option, he had to do it no matter what, and he ended up dying. With the little mats he has off this spawn fight, you can see how he does a really good job of confusing the guy about where he's going. He builds a decent amount, but doesn't waste too much mats and goes through his old builds where they're fully built. That way the guy's confused on where he's going. This buys him enough time to get his teammates back into the fight and help him out. Since he's on high ping, I told you about the way that he moves while taking shots. He's never standing still still, and even with this AR spray, he's constantly moving to the left and getting shots onto this guy so that he's keeping pressure and forcing him to stay inside his box, and that way he can kind of have a little bit of an advantage. He kind of got bumped down by the cone, but going down at that angle to the bottom right is going to be really a good spot because you're probably not going to take that much damage since you're pretty much barely going to be seen. If you guys have any further questions regarding high ping or PC questions or Fortnite related questions, feel free to hop into my Twitch chat as I'm live usually every time I post a video that night. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. I hope you have a good rest of your day or a good night. Deuces everyone. Peace.